All Blacks have shocked the rugby world by parting ways with Scott Robertson. Now, the biggest question in sport is who's going to lead New Zealand back to what they once were? Who's going to lead the All Blacks at the next Rugby World Cup? As always, All Blacks fans, neutral fans, let me know in the comments who you think is going to get that top job in what is in what is the most scrutinized head coach role in rugby. In all levels of rugby, the All Blacks head coach, the most pressure, the highest expectations. And that's just off the back of All Blacks and New Zealand rugby being so dominant for so long. They obviously have a very high standard. The players have a high standard. The board has a high standard. The fans have high standards for the All Blacks. It is also a massive year of rugby this year. Yes, next year is the Rugby World Cup, but this year is the return of the greatest rivalry tour. So All Blacks are taking a big squad up to South Africa, 4 tests. There's midweek games. There's the Rugby Nations Cup this year, which is a new tournament. There's 5 months of international rugby this year, leading into the Rugby World Cup next year. So there's a lot to play for. And I think after how everything was handled this past few days with Scott Robertson being sacked, the pressure put on the next guy coming in, holy, man, good. All I say is good luck to whoever it is. We're going to run through some of the candidates that I think will be put in the hat to get selected. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts. And if I've missed someone, tell me I don't know anything about rugby or New Zealand rugby, and tell me why. So we'll just get straight into it. This has been the one that everyone has mainly talked about. Jamie Joseph, ex-Highlanders, ex-All Blacks 15 coach, ex-Japan coach. He led Japan to 2019 quarterfinals Rugby World Cup. And I think he is probably the leading candidate to be Razor's successor because of his success, I guess, domestically with the Highlanders, then internationally with Japan and the All Blacks 15. Because he has been the coach of the All Blacks 15, he's very up to date and I guess aware with the whole All Blacks high performance and academies and how they go about certain things, whether it's their calls or just the leadership groups or expectations. I guess expectations you can chuck into everyone's because expectations is to win, right? That's just plain and simple. As an All Blacks coach, it is to win, to grow the level or the standard of playing, the skills, to bring in quality assistant coaches or quality tactical coaches or whatever other roles, whatever coaching roles that they can bring in, is to bring that as well and then to broaden the squad and to set them up in, I guess, the right direction that they want to go in. They must have a very much an outlined direction of how they want to go and what they want to achieve, because that was one of the reasons why Scott Robertson was let go, because they weren't heading in the right direction, or the high performance team didn't think that of Scott Robertson. With Jamie Joseph comes the question mark around Tony Brown, who is now plying his trade with the Springboks in the attack role and he's done wonders with Springboks attack. The Tony ball has just gone to a new level with the Springboks. I think the last year scored the most tries that they've ever done in a calendar year. And that was off the back of Tony Brown, obviously having the players to do so and then adapting to how he wants to play. But we all know the relationship Tony Brown and Jamie Joseph have. So I think if Jamie Joseph gets this role, he definitely will want to bring Tony Brown in. Whether Tony Brown has a clause in his current contract with the Springboks where he is allowed to then leave if he gets offered a job with the All Blacks. We all know that Tony Brown used to play for the All Blacks, staunch New Zealander. He's currently in Wellington right now, very conveniently in New Zealand when all of this has been going down. So I also think, just touching on that, I also think that if that were the case, I think Rassie Erasmus would shake Tony Brown's hand and say, good luck. Because if he wants to do that and he approaches Rassie and says, listen, this is what's happening. I want to go coach the All Blacks, my country, the country that I've played for, country that I've dreamed of playing for, which I did, it then came true, and then nextly want to coach. You wouldn't want to stop him from that, because you know then what, if you've stopped him from that, he'll just be thinking of, oh, I want to go, I don't want to be here, I want to be there. So I think Rassie would shake his hand and wish him luck if that came to fruition. Next candidate I've got is Dave Rennie, a highly experienced coach in his own right, both again, domestically and internationally. He's previously coached the Wallabies, currently coaching in Japan, obviously brings a lot of experience, has coached internationally before. So that makes him an attractive candidate as well. Where you look at Razor's appointment, he never coached internationally before, and All Blacks was his first gig, which is a tough slog, right? It's throwing someone to the wolves. Yes, he had domestic success, but international is a whole different ballgame. So Dave Rennie is another one there. Obviously brings his own tactical experience. I guess all the candidates are obviously going to bring their own flavor to how they want to do things, bring in new coaching staff as well. Like I said, whether that be defensively, forwards, attacking, whatever it is, whatever they're allowed to bring in, they will bring in the guys that they know and like and they've trusted throughout their coaching careers. And I guess I wouldn't say an outsider's perspective, because Dave Rennie is a New Zealander, but just a different perspective could bring different outcomes, different ways of how they want to go about things, but still in the direction they want to go. So Dave Rennie is another candidate there. And then we've got the third candidate, Joe Schmidt, who's had experience internationally with Ireland, domestically with Leinster. He's had internationally with the Wallabies as well. We've seen of recent form how he's kind of taken the Wallabies from down in the dumps to a Wallabies team that can go to South Africa and beat the Springboks, that have beaten Argentina, that playing attractive rugby and kind of put a bit of respect back on the Wallabies name. There is obviously the small hiccup with Joe Schmidt, why he left the Wallabies, wanting to go back to New Zealand to spend more time with his family, obviously having an ill son. Whether that comes into the situation, obviously him being in New Zealand kind of makes it then, you're right there, but the international schedule is hectic. He'll be on the road for a long time. So there's that as well. But again, it comes back to the fact that he is a Kiwi. And if you get offered the All Blacks job as a Kiwi, like that's it. That's the top. That's the pinnacle, right? So Joe Schmidt is definitely another candidate there. Again, we'll bring in fresh set of eyes, fresh perspective, a fresh way, an outlook of how he wants to go about it. Again, still aligning with the direction they want to go in, bringing culture back into it. Obviously, the process of all of this is going to be like high pressure, very important, because the decision they make here is, man, because of how it's all worked out or how it all played out 2 years before the World Cup, abrupt ending to Scott Robinson, who was going to take them to the World Cup. And now it's like, who's next? Do have to give a special mention to someone like Vern Cotter, who's also an experienced coach, both internationally and domestically. But again, we can list a lot of guys that are potential candidates. I do think it will definitely be a Kiwi. And when they're going to do it, who knows? It's like I said, it's going to be an extensive process. It's a very important job to fill. They obviously want a certain person that can lead the All Blacks in a certain direction, that can bring in fresh ideas, but still align with the ways they want to go and how they want to improve the All Blacks setup, the players they want to bring in, the goals they have in mind, and obviously the big one being the World Cup next year. Again, would love your guys' feedback. What do you think? Who do you think is most likely to get it? Who is less likely to get it? Is it the coach's issue? Is the coach the issue here, really? Or is the rule of not being able to pick players overseas still going to hold the All Blacks back? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye.